Today, we're going to talk about a pickup I had last Friday that was so awesome. There was a huge surprise at the end that I was not expecting. At the end of the workday, I happened to hop on Facebook Marketplace and saw that someone was selling Pokemon card collection, or a big bundle of Pokemon cards, for $300. Now, I know very little about Pokemon. I have purchased one collection in the past, back in 2019, for about $300, and I was able to make a great profit of that collection earlier, or actually late last year, when I got back to Denver. In this particular listing, the only reason that I really considered it is because it had these. These are cards that are already graded, and which basically means they're valid, or that they're real cards, because there's a huge market for counterfeit cards out there. And I knew that based on the pictures of what I had seen in the listing and between what was in these slabs, that I would be very close to making my $300 back. That's why I reached out to the guy and told him, hey, I'm gonna come and meet you. I'll be there after work. Give me an extra 15 minutes because traffic loves to ruin my day, but I'll be there. So I get there and he shows me the slabs. He seemed like a really upfront guy. He told me before I came that the Mew that was in the binder actually had a crease in it. And what I figured, the reason he was telling me that is because Mew is a card that's in high demand. And so the first thing he did when I got there was show me the Mew. I'm gonna pull it out here. The crease that was in the card, which is not too visible here, but there is a crease. And this card does sell for $200 or $300 more if it's graded. But I was here because I knew that the money in the slabs and probably a couple of cards at $20 or $30 within this binder were going to make me whole on the $300, and then everything else would allow me to put it on my listings for the local yard sales that I have. I have these yard sales, and they are $1, $3, and $5 yard sales. Everything there is that price, and I do great bundle deals as well, because these are the items in my yard sale are items that I would not sell online because they're not profitable enough and not worth my time to get them listed. When I have Pokemon cards, Magic the Gathering cards, it brings a lot more traffic to my yard sales. So that was my plan with these cards here after I hopefully maybe made a little bit of profit, like $100 over the 300. Okay, I get there, we're talking, going over the cards. I don't negotiate with him because when it comes to Pokemon cards and things that I don't really know about, sometimes it can be offensive to negotiate. I think you always should. Don't ever let fear stop you from negotiating. However, I knew enough to know that this stuff was nice enough and that he had a line of people waiting to talk to him that were trying to come and even offer him more money than what he had put on that listing for me to take it. So I gave him the 300. I said, thank you. And he said, wait, I have a surprise for you. So I'm there kind of like, is this going to be okay? He goes in his car. He opens his door and he says, I'm selling you these. He's like, but I'm also giving you this. And it is one of those card boxes with about 8 rows completely full of Pokemon cards. And I'm just like, I'm blown away at this point. I'm just like, what? Are you serious? Are you sure? I was like, he's like, yeah. He's like, my son and I are getting into sports cards, and so we are just starting over, and we're getting rid of all of the Pokemon. So I said, okay. And I said, you know what? You should come to my yard sale that I'm going to have next week, because I just happened to pick up in the last month a collection of sports cards. Now, the sports cards that I got were primarily junk era. And junk era basically means that the cards were made in 1989 through the early 90s. During that time period, because it became so popular to collect cards, baseball cards, football cards, hockey cards, there were tons of cards printed out. So a lot of those cards from that time period don't make any money, and they're not as collectible. However, like I mentioned, for the yard sale, I knew that I could, with this like the Pokemon cards, I know that if I tell people that I have a bunch of sports cards, and I give the years, like I don't let people come there thinking that they're going to find a 1967 Mickey Mantle or the LeBron's rookie card or Michael Jordan's rookie card. I let them know, hey, I've got cards from this range of time. Come check them out, because there are still plenty of people who collect those cards. And that was my goal. I said, hey, I have these cards. I said, you know what? Actually, let me look at my car. I think I have a couple of binders. I said, they may not be what you're looking for. They are junk era, but I'm so grateful for what you've done here today. I'd like to just give you these 2 if that's okay. And he said, yeah, of course. And he's like, I'd like to come to your yard sale too. So I told him about that, told him to follow me on Facebook, and, hopefully I make a new friend as well. But I just want to encourage everybody to get out there and just, it really made me happy to know that, he was looking out, and he was there to give a gift. He was there to be in giving to other people. And there are a lot of people on the planet like that, even though sometimes it seems like there aren't. Just continue to do your thing. Happy hunting, and I can't wait to let y'all know how these Pokemon cards turned out. Take care.